that, and just knowing that prayer works. So we're hopeful.
There's a list of prisoners who could get released because they're vulnerable to COVID-19. On that list is former Cuyahoga County Commissioner Jimmy DeMora.
The state is gearing up to reopen, but not everyone is ready to go back to work.
No, I'm not going back to work tomorrow.
A dental hygienist tells us why she's worried about her safety and the safety of her patients. And how fast are you driving these days?
The reason why I stopped was the speed. 105.
The lesson law enforcement officers have for anyone on the road these days.
Plus, we're getting crafty. A local girl and her mom found a unique way to keep the masks from pulling on our ears. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
I don't feel so bad now for having a slight lead foot. 105. Wow. Hello, everybody. I hope your Thursday's been a good one so far. Thanks so much for joining us for What's New. I'm Jay Crawford with my co-host Betsy Kling. And Betsy, another busy day.
It has been another busy day. Thursday definitely is a day where we do hit that gas pedal, both literally and figuratively. So we begin with an update on the stay-at-home order. This is a bit of a head scratcher, I'll be completely honest. Today, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said that he's extending the order for staying at home. He didn't give any dates, but he said the modifications announced this week to slowly reopen the state remain in effect. So we're reopening the state, but we still have to stay at home. We'll get more clarification on all this tomorrow. In just hours, we will shift into phase one of the reopening of Ohio's economy. And while the governor says he's optimistic, he admits there is still a shortage of personal protective equipment for our frontline workers. Laura Queso is here with an announcement from the governor. And Laura, PPE is headed to the people and the places who really need it.
Yeah, that's right. And this announcement comes after the governor said that 4.1 million pieces of PPE was heading into the state. And then today, another announcement from the governor. He says that the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction is getting 1.1 million pieces. That includes more than 100,095 masks for corrections officers, more than 250,000 gloves, and also 100,000 cloth masks for prisoners. The governor says the equipment is vital to the safety of the staff and prisoners they guard.
Our goal is to keep a 90-day supply of the most critical equipment, and these allocations, coupled with what DRC has on hand, are helping to achieve that.
Now, the governor says he's working to make sure that all of our first responders have the PPE they need. He said it before. If he can find it, he'll buy it. If he can't, he'll have the state manufacture it. Something that he's been talking about a lot, especially, Betsy, as we head into this next phase of reopening the state.
All right. Thanks so much, Laura. Jay?
Betsy, now on to your feed at 5. And first up there, the list of prisoners who could be released because they've been deemed medically vulnerable to the coronavirus includes former Cuyahoga County Commissioner Jimmy DeMora. DeMora is one of 837 prisoners at Elkton Prison who is on that list. DeMora is currently serving a 28-year sentence on corruption charges. As 3 News Investigates reported last week, a federal judge ordered the prison to begin identifying prisoners age 65 or older or those with pre-existing medical condition. DeMora fits those criterion. And so do hundreds of other inmates. 3 News talked with one family about this news.
His safety is my main concern. You know, I would love for him to be considered for the home confinement, being that he's a nonviolent offender and he has less than 16 months left. And then with the medical condition, for him to be able to get the nutrition and everything that he needs, I would love for him to be home. But if that doesn't take place, to at least have him transferred.
Now, just to reiterate here, this list, 837 names, this is inmates. These are all inmates considered medically vulnerable. This does not mean they will all be released. This just means they are eligible for release or transfer. 3 News Investigates is following this story. We'll have more on this coming up at 6 o'clock. Well, the latest job numbers are out today. An additional 3.8 million Americans have applied for unemployment benefits in the last week. That means over the last 6 weeks, more than 30 million Americans have filed claims for unemployment. That is more people than live in New York City and Chicago metropolitan areas combined. And back here at home, nearly 93,000 workers filed for unemployment across the state of Ohio in the last week. Ohio has now distributed more than $1.4 billion in unemployment compensation since the start of the pandemic. And as you might imagine, the unemployment system in Ohio, being under siege like this, is being stressed, and it has been for more than a month now. While some still have not received checks, and many are unable to get a person on the line when they call, with even more people filing every day, the problems are certain to get worse. The agency has invested $25 million in order to upgrade its system, collaborating with big companies in the customer service and the tech industries. It's also hired more than 1,600 people to take calls, but admittedly, all of that is still not enough.
If we had a person for kind of every call right now, we need upwards of close to 4,000 agents on the phone, which is very expensive. It's not feasible. So we have to leverage technology.
The agency said it's resolved 80% of the claims it's received, but hundreds of thousands are still waiting. And that's not even including those independent contractors and underemployed. They haven't even filed yet. Consumer investigator Danielle Serino is looking into the problems. She is speaking with legislators on how to solve it, and we'll have more on that story at 6, coming up on What Matters Most. Betsy?
Thank you, Jay. Well, still, as Ohio is slowly but surely returning to being open, folks with plans for a trip to the dentist, well, there's an up-close and personal experience that goes along with that, as we all know. Starting tomorrow, offices are allowed to expand to more than just emergency services. Tiffany Tarpley shows us some of the concerns from staff, however, who aren't ready to get back to work just yet.
While some dental offices are ready to open on May 1st, others are waiting. The Ohio State Dental Board has a list of 17 guidelines that need to be followed during the COVID-19 pandemic. It includes things like checking temperatures of staff as well as patients, staggered scheduling, and reducing the number of in-person appointments. Now, there are two big concerns for a local registered dental hygienist I spoke with today. First, limited availability of personal protective equipment like masks. Secondly, the need for more devices in those offices, like this one that's being used in Strongsville, that clean the air, suck in those aerosols, that bacteria, the droplets that come from a patient's mouth.
Obviously, you've gotten your teeth cleaned. It can be a damp experience. It can be wet. You know, there's water, there's droplets floating around. I know a lot of hygienists out there are, you know, either quitting or being forced to be in a position to say, you know, what's more important, my profession or my life.
Bianca Fernandez is happy that she is not in that position. Her office is waiting to open until staff concerns are addressed and proper protocols are in place. Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
All right, well, now it is time to check in with Russ Mitchell, who's over at the news desk with more of the top headlines that are making news today. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Betsy, good afternoon, and good afternoon to you at home. President Trump says he's planning to travel to Arizona next week and Ohio very soon, although it is not clear when and exactly where. The president also says he's looking forward to holding massive campaign rallies, despite the fact that right now, much of the country, of course, remains on lockdown. You cannot go yet, but Put-in-Bay officials say they are planning to open for the summer season. Supplies are being brought to South Bass Island now. However, as long as Ohio's stay-at-home order is in effect, the docks, state parks, restaurants, bars, hotels, all closed. And researchers at the University of Pennsylvania are trying to figure out if dogs can smell whether someone has COVID-19. Trials involving humans could begin by July. What do you think about that, Betsy?
It must be like something that they're thinking about, at least, so there might be some kind of positivity about that.
It's interesting. Every day you hear these stories. The other day we heard of a dog who had the virus. You never knew this stuff was going on. So every day there's something else.
It definitely is. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah.
Jay?
Betsy, a majority of us haven't been driving as much while the stay-at-home order has been in place. That means there are a lot of open roads, and highway patrol troopers are seeing people taking advantage of those open roadways, but they say it needs to stop. Brandon Simmons is here now to tell us about some of these extreme speeders on our highways. Brandon.
Hey, Jay, yeah, you're right. There aren't a lot of people on the road. I get it. And a lot of us are used to kind of tracking our own speed based on the people who are on the road around us. So when those people aren't there, it's a little bit easier for that lead foot to kick in, but that's not a good thing. And while troopers are trying to limit their interaction with drivers, it's not a free pass to speed. In recent weeks, troopers have caught more than 1,000 speeders who were going at least 20 miles per hour over the speed limit and 203 more who were doing at least 100 miles per hour. Now, the drivers we're seeing in the video on the screen, they were caught doing 105 miles per hour and 110 miles per hour. Considering how many less people are on the road, troopers say that number is alarming. Now, especially when you compare that to the smaller volume of tickets that we've seen in years past.
We're still seeing some of those violations that are 20 plus over the speed limit up into triple digits. Those are starting to increase, and it was a little alarming, and we're still conducting traffic stops with those individuals. It's more noticeable because of the less traffic on the roadway. Some of these individuals really stick out more than others.
Now, troopers are also asking people to slow down because we'll soon have more people driving as the state begins that process of opening back up. Plus, at the speeds that we're talking about, the odds of being seriously injured in a crash increase dramatically. So the simple thing is we need people to just slow down, leave a little bit earlier if you have to, and of course, pay attention to what you're doing. Don't drive distracted. You got to make sure you're not going 70, 80, and of course not 100 miles per hour, Jay.
Yeah, 100 and 110. It's incredible. Thanks, we appreciate it. Still ahead on What's New. With all of this video conferencing that's been going on, we're letting our coworkers get a glimpse of our lives at home. Mike Polk sets out to see what our coworkers' backdrops say about us. Interesting.
Jay, Odell Beckham Jr.'s quarantine must-haves are surprisingly relatable. We'll tell you what he needs to get by. Now back to the studio for a check on the weather. Hi, Betsy.
Well, guess what? Here it is, April 30th, and April 30th is being very April-y, unfortunately. Lots of clouds, few showers, chilly temperatures. When do we turn the page? Hopefully soon. I have details coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. Working from home is sort of like peeling back the curtain, and suddenly our home lives, or at least part of them, become open fare for our coworkers on Zoom calls. But what is your background exposing about you? I can't wait to see what Mike Polk has to say about mine. We asked our funny man and observationist Mike Polk to take a look at these backdrops and tell us what they are saying about us.
Like it or not, we're at a period in time where video chatting via Zoom or other apps is pretty much unavoidable, and that can leave you feeling a little bit exposed. Your coworkers are looking into your home, and make no mistake, we are judging you based on what's behind you. And just a little bit of information communicates so much. For example, today I'm featuring this painting that I had commissioned of my cat sitting atop the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. Now, what does that say about me? I don't know. Probably that I'll die alone, but that's up for you to interpret. Most of my coworkers are stuck broadcasting from home as well, and I thought I would do them a service by judging their backgrounds and giving them some tips. You're welcome in advance, guys. Let's start by looking at what Jay Crawford's background is saying to us. Jay is what you call an open book. No real curveballs here. He's got a bunch of sports books, a hint of Browns helmet. He's got an Emmy up there. He obviously has a healthy relationship with his children. And did you know that Jay was on Cold Pizza? Because he'd like you to. Matt Wentz has kids, so he's all in on that angle. That's why it looks like he's broadcasting from the waiting room in a pediatrician's office. Jim Donovan's doing a baller move where he's using his majestic farm as a backdrop, which is so beautiful that it actually looks like a fake Zoom background, which is very confusing. This perspective makes Danielle Sereno look like a junior high principal who is scolding the viewer that was just sent to her office for misbehaving. Maureen Kyle either needs to put a bigger plant here, or some more plants, or perhaps just water the plant that is already there, but something needs to be done because that is too sparse. There, I said it. I'm sorry, Maureen. By contrast, new kid on the block, Laura Queso, is nailing it with this background featuring a very handsome fern. That is some good fern action there, Laura. Take a note, Kyle. Romney is apparently broadcasting from a Marriott hotel room, and I think Sarah is below deck on a yacht, and Brandon's background is perfect. Look at that lighting. It's exquisite. Did you have some Playhouse Square stagehands come in and light your apartment for you, Brandon? What are you? And finally, Stephanie, let's talk about that blank wall, okay? It's glaring, and it is begging for some character. Please allow me to help. Boom. You're welcome. I hope that helps, guys. Just remember moving forward, if you're going to be giving people this little glimpse into your life, make sure that it's representing who you really are as a person. Great advice, Mike. Thanks, Butterscotch. This is Mike for 3 News.
That is fantastic. I wish you would have done a little self-analysis on your own background, though. And I want to point out one thing that Mike didn't touch on. So when I started broadcasting from home, my mom lives in Phoenix. She watches every day. And she said, I don't see a picture of your mother in the background. So I grabbed this picture of Mom and I taken a couple of years ago, and I prominently have it right here every day. And it gives my mom, who is alone in Phoenix, just a little bit of comfort. And yes, I do have a very healthy relationship with my children. Well, Betsy, rain ruled the day, sadly. But I have my eyes on the weekend, and Holly told us at noon we are looking spectacular there. I hope that hasn't changed.
As far as I know, it has not. I'm just trying to wonder what he might say about my background. Oh, wait, I don't get to stay at home. I'm here.
I'm sorry.
In front of our background that we always have. But at least we have something that's consistent. The other thing that's been, whoa, Frank, getting crazy. Do you want me to go? There, that's a much better background. I agree. Let's take the maps. Talking about consistency, the clouds, they've been consistent. The showers, they've been consistent. The overall yucky kind of temperatures, pretty consistent. We have seen some little peaks of sun here and there and some warm days, but for the most part, today, not one of them. We do have temperatures that are going to fade back into the low to mid 40s as we head through the overnight hours tonight. And all in all, the clouds are staying put. So are the rain chances. Just scattered showers around right now, relatively light, not really causing any problems for anybody other than just kind of making them go, April. stinks. And it has been kind of a stinky April, hasn't it? Temperatures currently are in the upper 40s to right around 50. Average temperatures this time of the year, we should be closing in on 60. That's just hurting. But there is some cold air in the upper part of the atmosphere that is the driver of our problems for today. That's also causing all the clouds, and you can see the showers. So the area of low pressure is dynamic. It's stacked throughout the atmosphere. That means it's rather stubborn, and it's taking its sweet time in crossing the state of Ohio. It is headed down for Virginia Beach, so it's headed out to the beach. But the good news is the back edge of it should finally get here by the time we end the day tomorrow. So on the big picture of your National Design hour-by-hour forecast, this thing will slowly spin its way through Ohio throughout the day or the night tonight, most of the day tomorrow. But by afternoon, we should start to get some clearing in here. So the evening right now tomorrow is looking rather spectacular. Let's get a little more detailed, throw some temperatures on the map for you. By midnight, low 40s, and you can see the clouds and showers are staying put. We'll continue to have scattered showers around in the morning, and then things will slowly but surely begin to improve once we turn the corner midday. So it looks like once we get some sunshine, there you see it. Temperatures pop back into the mid-50s. It'll be a little cooler along the lakeshore, and it will be kind of breezy with the northwest wind staying put. We'll stay mostly clear for tomorrow evening, so if you have any grilling plans or maybe want to get out and walk a little bit, put your parka back on May 1st. Isn't that perfect? And then get out there and you can certainly enjoy the sunset. The midnight hour on Saturday will start with clear skies, but by morning, high thin clouds will fill in. Here's the difference on Saturday, though. Southerly wind. Watch what happens. We're going to take the temperatures right into the upper 60s for Saturday afternoon. And yes, we will see clouds increasing late day, but I really think we're going to be doing just fine as far as the forecast goes. Here's your Universal Windows Direct Outlook, and you can see how we start the day tomorrow with the showers, but then we make it to the 50s once the sun peeks out. Upper 60s near 70 on Saturday. We will bring some shower and thunderstorm chances in on Sunday. And then it's back to more of what we have been dealing with in April, even though we've turned the calendar to May. Temperatures are going to be in the 50s with some showers. Can you tell today I've been on the struggle bus, Jay? It's been a challenge today since the moment I woke up.
I don't know what you're talking about. Honest to goodness.
The sarcasm just bleeds from me, unfortunately, so I have to clean my act up a little bit.
That's okay. It's Thursday. Betsy, we're a step from the weekend.
Yes.
Just one step. We're getting close.
One giant
Still to come
step.
on What's New, supplies. They are the key to getting through this quarantine. OBJ's no different. The Browns wide receiver shares his must-haves during this long stretch at home. That's next on What's New. Okay. When I was asked to say a few words about my mom and what she means to me, my first thought was, how do I even begin to put that into words? Everyone knows relationships with sons and their fathers are very special. The lessons learned last a lifetime. My love of sports, my work ethic, my desire to succeed, all of that came from my dad. Our relationship was a very special one. Really, it was more like best friends, and I miss him every day. But lessons I learned from my mom, they go well beyond all of that. She taught me the value of family and how those bonds only get more important the older we get. She showed me the way to an undying faith and taught me that in rough times, I don't always need to lead. I can follow God's will. She taught me how to love. She taught me how to be selfless, how to care more about others than myself. And most importantly, she showed me how to share compassion to all I come in contact with. My mom watches every day from Phoenix, and when we first started broadcasting from home, she jokingly said, "Hey, why isn't there a picture of you and I in your bookcase?" So I added one right behind me. She looks for it every day, and it gives her just a little bit of peace that she's not alone. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I could never thank you enough for all you've done.
We've been talking a lot about getting baseball started, but you know, Stephanie, basketball is kind of looming in the background for us, and I'm sure you know that folks have been talking a lot about that too, since you are the host of Clicking in Cleveland. So what has been clicking in Cleveland?
Yes, Betsy, you're right. Let's not forget about basketball, because you know who? LeBron James has not forgot about basketball. He tweeted this today. This is in response to reports referring to a CNBC article that higher-ups want to cancel the season, but he says that is not true, at least not from what he's heard. He said, as soon as it's safe, we would like to finish our season. I'm ready and our team is ready. Nobody should be canceling anything. Remember, the NBA suspended this season on March 11th, just a couple of weeks before LeBron and the Lakers were supposed to come here to play the Cavs again. So maybe that'll get to happen. We'll see. Speaking of sports, the NFL is in the off season right now, and those players are quarantining just like the rest of us, and that includes Cleveland Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Here's what he says he needs to get by right now.
Obviously, you know, the most important thing to me is football. And right now, all I'm doing is working out every day, grinding. I got my gloves, got the ball.
He says his football and gloves are things that go everywhere with him, and beyond that, his quarantine must-haves include a deck of cards to play games like Rummy 500 or Speed. He's kind of a gamer, so he needs his Call of Duty Warzone on Xbox One, and also a sleep aid called Vibes with the 3 Z's, made by his own supplement company, Brand X, and then wine to wind down, just like the rest of us. Something else that we all have in common when we can't necessarily do much right now is we can all enjoy the beautiful spring sights. I want you to take a look at these 2 photos of a really nice night down in the flats. This first one here was taken on the west bank. You see the bridge all lit up, Terminal Tower peeking out there. And this other one was taken on the east bank at sunset, looking out to the lake. Truly just a stunning view. And we want to highlight the beautiful views that everyone is seeing, because sharing is caring, right? So we would love for all of you at home to share your photos using the hashtag #BeOn3, and then we can share them with everyone else. You know, Betsy, I know it's been raining a lot lately, but you really just can't beat the views downtown. It's gorgeous.
No, and now's the perfect time to get to enjoy them, because there's not a whole lot of people down here, so you can kind of wander around and get some of those pictures that you've tried to get before, but somebody walks into the frame. So now is the time. Thanks, Stephanie. Well, everybody, do you miss your workout? We're going to take a look at what some gyms are doing to find a way to open back up safely. And wearing masks, yes, they can be uncomfortable in your ears, but there's a slick trick that a mom and daughter duo came up with to help out. And smoothie bowls, we'll show you how to make the perfect one as What's New continues.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to What's New. It is Friday Eve, friends. I'm Jay Crawford here with Betsy Kling. Betsy, you have a story about a group jamming out to a classic song. Tell us more.
Alrighty, well, staff members at Perry Local Schools in Stark County recorded themselves singing "It's My Life" by Bon Jovi, one of Russ Mitchell's favorite songs. Take a listen.
It's my life, now or never. Yeah, I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live my life.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, go all in, right? Don't just do the top layer. You go all in. These videos are fantastic. They always make us smile. Keep sending them to us. Text them along with the word "heroes" to 216-344-3300. And I think it would be epic if we could play that music along with it, because that is just a jammin' song a lot of people like to sing along to, definitely. Jay?
An all-time rock classic. And I hope you were being serious when you said it was one of Russ's favorite songs. That means he's got great music taste, which I already thought in the first place, but that's a good one.
You'll get to
all
ask
right,
him
let's
yourself.
get you, I will. Let's get you caught up on the newest information about the coronavirus. Dr. Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, said today that states need to be very careful as they reopen for business.
You pull back, there will be cases. And what we need to do is make sure they have in place the capability of identifying, isolating, and contact tracing individuals.
He urged states that don't have the capability to do the proper testing to go very slowly. And the U.S. accounts for a third of the world's coronavirus cases. There are 3.2 million cases worldwide. Just over 1 million of them are here in the United States. Keep in mind, though, the U.S. has tested far more than any other country, so it stands to reason we would have more positive cases. Betsy?
We all know that the responsible thing to do right now is to wear a mask in public. But if you have one that goes behind your ears, you know, it can start to hurt. So as I was flipping around on Facebook last night, I ran across Olivia and her mom, who found a fun way to make wearing a mask more comfortable. Check it out.
Hi, so I'm Olivia, and if you're staying safe like me, you have a mask like this. And by now, you know that the elastic hurts the back of your ears. So, me and my mom here found a way to prevent that from happening.
So do you have any of these elastic hair ties at home that have the marbles on each end? They were really popular when I was little, and they can be found at Target, Walmart, the dollar stores where we got ours. You can use these to take the elastic off the back of the ear, marble through this side, elastic off the back of the ear, marble through this side, and voila. And if it's too loose, you combine the marbles together to pull it a little bit tighter. And now there's no pressure on the ears.
Pretty simple.
Problem solved. Stay safe.
Bye.
Absolutely brilliant. And who doesn't love the little marble hair ties? I had so many of those as a kid. I think they're so cute. Well, Olivia and Jenna, thank you so much for letting us show that video. If you have some little tips and tricks or hacks for comfortable ways to wear your mask or how you're getting through, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you about that. You can email me, Betsy Kling at WKYC.com if you want to. And we're loving seeing those little videos. 1 minute or less, we'll try and get it in there. Thanks again, Jenna and Olivia. Well, it's time now to check back in with Russ Mitchell for more news headlines. Russ, it's my life, but you have the headline.
Wow, I'm more of a living on a prayer guy, Betsy, but it's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much. I learned so much sitting here with you about myself. So, thanks.
Thanks, Russ.
Here is what is happening. The Greater Cleveland Food Bank distributed food again today in Cleveland's Muni lot. Just shy of 3,000 pre-registered to get the fresh produce and a box of food staples. So far during this pandemic, the food bank has distributed more than 20,000 boxes of food and 33,000 backpacks. And today, WKYC donated $5,000 through the Tegna Foundation to the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. Walmart associates here in Ohio and across the country got a bonus in their paychecks today. It was their second bonus since this pandemic began. Walmart also said today it hired an additional 200,000 workers nationwide. And Amherst School's teachers and staff sent some love to their high school seniors, all 313 of them. They drove around last night and put signs in students' front yards to let those seniors know how much they are missed. And that is fantastic. It must be so bizarre graduating from high school and college around this time because you can't do any of that stuff, unfortunately.
Right? My heart goes out to the girls who got their prom dresses and now they have nowhere to wear them. They've been posting some really awesome videos, though,
it's tough.
To show off their new threads.
They'll have great stories to tell years from now.
Definitely, definitely. All right, Russ, we'll see you on What Matters Most at 6. Jay?
Well, Betsy, no doubt everyone has seen the NBC hit show American Ninja Warrior. Once you start watching, you just can't stop. The show is such a hit, the producers spun off a junior version, and tomorrow a local Clevelander will take his shot on the show. His name is Vincent Canales, and he comes from great pedigree. His mother is Clevelander Dominique Molciano, who, of course, helped the U.S. women's gymnastics team earn the gold medal at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. And Dad Michael is also a coach at the Dominique Molciano Gymnastics Center in Medina, where Vincent has been practicing gymnastics since he was 6 months old. I spoke with the family today ahead of Vincent's appearance on American Ninja Warrior Jr. tomorrow.
My son here obviously has the athletic pedigree. He has a strong mind. He's very determined. The moment we landed in Los Angeles and tried out the course, I knew that he was going to make Cleveland proud, Northeast Ohio proud, and probably the whole state of Ohio proud.
It's a true blessing to be able to sit on the sidelines and cheer my son and, have him do something that he thoroughly enjoys.
Now, tomorrow's episode is the first of season 2 for the Junior Ninja Warriors. Vince is one of 4 participants still going in the 9 to 10 age group. I asked the family, can you give us a hint on how he does? Because these episodes have been pre-taped. They said, well, we can tell you, but it will cost us a $500,000 fine. And I said, no, we'll just wait and find out. It airs tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Universal Kids. Good luck to young Vincent. He's a super young man. And there it is. That's the music. You know what it means. Entertainment news is coming. Here's Steph now with your daily pop break.
Coming straight up out that third, whip the whip like I stirred it. Wood grain we swerving, keeping his mind all on these curves.
Beyonce is back to her remixing ways, and this time for a good cause. Queen Bee hopped on Megan Thee Stallion's song Savage, which has become a TikTok sensation, and spiced things up in the new version to benefit Houston's COVID-19 relief effort. The chorus from the original song has been used in more than 19 million TikTok videos.
Hey, so you back him. I'm a savage. Yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty. Yeah. Acting stupid. What was happening? What was happening? I'm a savage. Yeah.
Guess this means it's time to learn a new dance. People have been wondering where Taylor Swift's long-term boyfriend Joe Alwyn has been during this pandemic, and fans are now convinced they're quarantining together after Alwyn posted several photos on his Instagram story that look a lot like Taylor's cat, Benjamin Button, which first debuted as a kitten in Taylor's video For Me last year. To add to their case, Super Sleuths noted that the rug in Alwyn's pic of the now older cat matches a rug in a picture Taylor posted a week ago. Gotta love the internet.
You bet I got a dream. I'm not the only one. A Hollywood dream, that's everybody's dream.
And Ryan Murphy's latest project is almost here. Hollywood drops on Netflix tomorrow, and trust that you are not going to want to miss this one, starring Darren Criss, Laura Harrier, Dylan McDermott, Holland Taylor, Jim Parsons, and Queen Latifah. Talk about a cast. The show focuses on up-and-coming actors and filmmakers looking to make it big in old-time Hollywood at any cost, and it looks very juicy. Now we would like to wish a very happy 32nd wedding anniversary to Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. Rita Wilson shared this photo today in honor of it, and the Hanks celebrated early last week by donating plasma since they are COVID-19 survivors, sharing these photos yesterday from that experience. And Tom joked that after the paperwork, it's really as easy as just taking a nap. COVID-19 survivors are being asked to contribute plasma for these antibody tests around the country. So, Jay, we want to thank the Hanks for participating in that.
Absolutely. Stephanie, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. We are jazzing up your average smoothie. A local chef shows us how to make smoothie bowls. Betsy, how's the weather looking?
Well, you have a window, so you could probably tell me more, but I have a really awesome camera that's sitting in downtown Cleveland. I will say, we have seen some blue sky peaks from time to time, so it's not all bad news, and things are going to be getting better as we head toward the weekend. So certainly brighter skies on the horizon. Now it's time for our pop quiz. You know, today is International Jazz Day. One of the most influential jazz players was Louis Armstrong. What year was he born? 1900, 1901, or 1902? We'll be right back. Well, it's time now to get the answer to our pop quiz. We asked you what year was musician Louis Armstrong born. And the answer is 1901. Jay?
He was a good one. Well, Betsy, gyms are not on the governor's list of businesses that can reopen in the next few weeks. So more than a dozen of gym owners are working together to try to change that. A total of 18 gyms on the city's east side got together this weekend to brainstorm. Their goal is to come up with a plan to meet the sanitation and social distancing guidelines that might help the state to give them that green light to open. One suggestion was operating at 50% capacity with only 6 clients per instructor. The group is also working on a list of products that could safely clean and disinfect both facilities and equipment.
We're better when we collaborate. We're all in this together, as everyone keeps saying. So why not reach out to places just like us in the fitness space, dance studios, gyms, and the family entertainment like us to see what they're doing and share our best practices. Maybe they're doing something better that we could use here at Adrenaline Monkey.
Yeah, the group also plans to reach out to clients to hear their concerns and make sure that they address them. And Betsy, I know that they're not on the list of essential services, but For those that do it regularly and then all of a sudden it's taken away, that physical activity, it can leave a huge void in your life. And I know a lot of folks are anxious to get back into that fitness routine.
Definitely. And if the weather would cooperate, it's a lot easier to get out and run around and do walking and all that stuff. But yeah, there's been a little hitch in that too. We are dealing with clouds and we still have showers, but today, friends, we were 10 degrees below average. That's probably the worst of it. All right, there we go. I mean, we could handle it if we had some really pleasant weather, but you know, when we're 10 degrees below average, there's definitely a pothole kind of feeling here. And unfortunately, we're at the bottom of the pothole right now. Back in 1942, oh, what a year it was, 88 degrees, the high on this date. 1969, they started off the day at 28, probably a lot of blown gardens that year. So there's that. Matt always has some really fun and unusual graphics to throw in here. I don't, I'm sorry, but I do have the marine forecast because, of course, our Lake Erie nearshore waters very important to us. You can social distance in a boat because you can go out with your family. You're not around anybody, right? So we have north-northwest winds at 14 knots, waves 1 to 2 feet at least. I think we'll probably be looking, since that north wind, probably waves upwards of 4 feet possible, especially in some of the deeper areas. But temperature of the water off of Cleveland is 45 degrees right now. And since we have that north wind, that definitely puts kind of that little break on the warming influence. We're still dealing with some scattered showers at this point, and these showers will be rotating through as we go through the night tonight and into the start of the day tomorrow. Upper 40s and low 50s at this hour. The big picture shows the swirl. This is the storm system that will slowly but surely be making its way off toward the east coast. And as it does so, we'll probably tap into some of these scattered showers that are still to come through tonight. But the back edge of the cloud cover will finally swirl in here tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see improving conditions through the day tomorrow, and we need to see improving conditions through the day tomorrow. Here's your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Those swirling showers coming through in the overnight and lingering into the start of the day tomorrow. With that north wind coming off the lake, we do get a little extra help in the moisture department from the lake, and you can see temperatures in the morning going to be in the 40s. By midday, we should start to take a turn, though. The temperatures are still in the 40s, but the skies will start to clear, and this time of the year, the sun is strong. Once it comes out, it's going to help to buoy the temperatures nicely. So we should make it mid and upper 50s across much of northern Ohio just before the sun sets, but that's all right. We had our little taste of it all. And then as we go through the evening, things will be cooling off from there. By Saturday, then, we should be turning a nice corner. There's clouds and showers in the morning, but those skies start to break up a little bit as we get into the afternoon, and we're looking at temperatures in the 50s late day. Then we blast into the upper 60s through the day on Saturday, thanks to some sunshine. We will have some clouds around, but I think there'll be high, thin clouds at the start. Then we'll throw in some shower and thunderstorm chances on Sunday as another cold front comes through, and your Universal Windows direct forecast then dips us back into the 50s for next week. But let's just focus on the weekend, right? No Zoom calls over the weekend. You can get outside. You could get your hands dirty. You know, grab hold of spring for a couple days and then get back to work next week.
I'm all about that Saturday and Sunday forecast. Hopefully it holds and we get some great weather to get outside and enjoy it. Betsy, thanks. Well, a lot of us are spending a lot more time in the kitchen these days, so we're on the hunt for new recipes to switch up your daily meals. Chef Anna Horvis shares her recipe for smoothie bowls and how to get them at that perfectly thick consistency. That's key. Here's how you do it. You need 2 smoothie packs. Anna gets dragon fruit packs from Patea Foods, but whatever you have in your kitchen or whatever you want to use, that'll work fine. Use 1 small banana, that helps with the consistency, 2 ounces of water, juice, or milk, whatever your preference is. Anna shared her pro tip to getting the smoothie just to the perfect consistency. Here it is.
If forever maybe you put a little too much liquid in, don't start all over. Just add some oats if you have some oatmeal at home, even if you have instant oats, or chia seeds. That's my pro tip.
And that will work. It'll add a little bit of thickness to it. She also says if you're making the bowls with dragon fruit packets, don't dump them all at once. Break them up first so they blend easier. That way you don't have to add liquid to get the mix to blend. Pretty good. Now I'm hungry for a smoothie. Next at 5, Doug Tratner is back in the kitchen. This time he's whipping up something you can use for multiple meals. And this video will absolutely put a smile on your face. How a baby and his dog are staying home during the quarantine. I dare you, watch it and don't smile.
Well, we continue to give some senior shout-outs around Northeast Ohio, and I'd like everybody to meet Carlin Jackson from Copley High School. Way to go, girl. So proud of you. You're doing Copley proud as well. Nice track star from what I hear, too. Well, your senior shout-outs on WKYC.com/senior shout-outs. That's where to see them, and that's where to nominate them. Well, we're all looking for food that lasts right now, and the king of it all might be chicken stock. You can do so much with it. It might sound intimidating, but 3 News food expert Doug Tratner breaks it down in his Cook by Numbers series.
Hello! Today we're making chicken stock from scratch in 5 easy steps. Let's get started. So I'm starting with about 3 pounds of chicken meat and bones. You might remember that backbone and neck from Spatchcocking 101. To this I'm going to add aromatics like carrots, onions, turnip, parsnip, celery, garlic, peppercorns, and herbs like bay leaf, thyme, parsley. I like to pull out the large solids first and then strain it into a smaller pot that's already in the sink so I can add a ton of ice and chill it down really quickly. If you use like really meaty bones, like some of these, not this, but like if you happen to have a leg or a breast, you could definitely save the meat and use it for another purpose, but obviously all the flavor is now in the stock where it belongs, and the meat has very little flavor. But you know, like I said, you could use it. You can make a chicken salad out of it. You can save it for your dogs and mix it with rice for when they have belly aches. But I'm going to go ahead and pull all these big pieces out and then strain it into the sink. And this is the hardest part about making stock. I've filled the sink with ice water and I'm straining the stock into a smaller pot. So that it chills as quick as I can chill it. I'm going to put the lid on that and just let it sit until it's cold, and then the next step is just portion it out and freeze it. So the soup is cool and it's ready for the freezer. I'm going to use a variety of different sizes. I like to have just a few cubes for when I want to add some chicken stock to a sauce, or obviously larger portions for when I'm making soup. Go ahead and label your stock before you put it in the freezer so you remember what it is and when you made it.
Oh, the ice cube trick is clutch in so many different situations. Well, you could store chicken stock in your freezer for up to 6 months or longer. You can find this recipe and more at WKYC.com/Doug Tratner. 2 T's in the middle. Well, it doesn't get much cuter than this. A baby and his dog. I love this. I needed this today. It's our Worth the Watch. Next.
It is time for our Worth the Watch. This one's exactly what we all need right now. Baby Liam and his four-legged best friend giving everyone a very good laugh. Watch. That is the contagious laugh of a baby. And it is contagious, and that is a beautiful sight.
It's
Hope
so
you enjoyed
cute.
it as much as I did. Yeah, it really is. I could watch that all day. We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5. Thanks so much for watching What's New.
That's right. What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts now.
Could Jimmy DeMora get out of prison? The state looking for ways to stop coronavirus from spreading behind bars. What that could mean for the kingpin of Cuyahoga County corruption and the families of other inmates.
Just moving them to a safe place is what I'm hoping for.
staggering unemployment. The virus has now wiped out all gains since the 2008 recession.
I just don't understand where the people are that man these phones.
Weeks of waiting, no money coming. We get answers about the delays for those filing for unemployment.
The reason why I stopped was the speed. 105.
Need for speed. State troopers explain the risks of ignoring the rules, even when you're basically all alone on the road.
No, I'm not going back to work tomorrow.
Is it safe? Dental workers explain why some offices are choosing to stay closed rather than open for business tomorrow.